What's up, everybody? Welcome to another recap of the 2022 NFL season. This week, week 13, we had a lot of blowouts. We had some close victories. We had Tom Brady finally having something go right for him. So much more. Just going to get right into it. Start with Thursday night's matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. I think it's safe to say that this whole Matt Patricia calling the offense not working out. I mean, what happened the week prior? Scored 26 at Minnesota. Possibility that you could have scored a little bit more. And you come out at home, Buffalo, wearing the alternate, throwback uniforms, and you get 10 points. 10 points on Buffalo without Von Miller. I mean, it was so sad that Marcus Jones, our punt returner, scored our only offensive touchdown. That's pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic and can't happen. But this is the reality of the Patriots, and until they somehow make some changes, they're not going to be making the playoffs this year. Bills, on the other hand, I mean, it was pretty much smooth sailing for them. I mean, Josh Allen had a couple TD passes, one to Gabe Davis, one to Stephon Diggs. He had Turp, and this was just an easy victory for the Bills, and that's it. I mean, Bills, they roll. Victory over the Patriots, 24-10. Sunday's matchups, we go to the Steelers and the Falcons. This just came down to some hard-nosed football, basically who had the ball last. Steelers didn't really get much offense. Connor Hayward, backup tight end, got the pass from Kenny Pickett. Their kicker, Matthew Wright, was 4 for 4. I didn't know Chris Boswell was injured. I don't know when that happened. He was 4 for 4 on field goals. And Steelers defense made a big play. Falcons were driving at the end of the game. Had a chance to take the lead, but Marcus Mariota throws a costly interception to Minkah Fitzpatrick. And the Steelers, they get the road victory over the Falcons, 19-16. And Mike Tomlin says, "What about that losing season? Not so fast. Got a chance here. I'm not trying to have a losing season just yet. We'll see what happens." Next, we have the Packers and the Bears. Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears. I mean, this was 19-10. The Bears were up in the third quarter. Packers scored 18 unanswered points in the fourth, and they're just down bad against the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he owns them. Aaron Rodgers is their daddy. No questions about it. The only good thing for the Bears is Justin Herbert had himself another TD run of over 50 yards. He is the first quarterback ever to have a QB run of over 50 yards in 3 games. I think it's 3 straight games. So kudos to you, Justin Fields, but the rest of the team, got to step up. For the Packers, Christian Watson continues his dominance in the last couple of games. He had himself a receiving touchdown as well as a rushing touchdown. And he's making a late surge for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Wasn't playing that well at the beginning of the season, but I don't know. He had some time to gel with Rodgers, and he's coming on strong as of late. And the Packers, they do what they do. They beat the Bears 20-19. We go to the Lions and the Jags. This is the Lions team that we've always wanted to show up. Great offense, very good defense. Yeah, it's the Jaguars, but hey, a win's a win in this league. All you can do is play who shows up, who's on your schedule. That's it. I mean, Jared Goff, over 300 yards, 2 TDs, both to Amon St. Brown, who went off for over 100 yards receiving. DeAndre Swift had a rushing TD. Jamal Williams had a rushing TD. I mean, this offense just left and right. I mean, they got the playmakers. They might not stick with Goff next season, but they have the playmakers available for whoever does step in for that QB role. Just got to get a few more playmakers on the defense, more especially the secondary. But I mean, these Lions, they play tough. That's 3 straight victories. They're 5-7. I mean, what more can you ask of this team? Not much else, especially in this game. And the Jags, on the other hand, the only good thing was that Trevor Lawrence didn't suffer a serious injury. But it's going to be back to the drawing board for the Jags this offseason. Figure out what went wrong. Just Lawrence needs to develop a little bit more. You need to get better on the defense, where Saxonville didn't really show up in this game. But for this game, the Lions, big home victory, dominant victory over the Jags, 40 to 14. So we go to the Jets and the Vikings. Mike White got the start again over Zach Wilson and didn't have that good of a game. I mean, he had, over 300 yards, rushing TD, but not much else really going for the offense. Kirk Cousins, he had himself. I mean, it's 1 p.m. Kirk. He had a touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson, and this game came down to the end. I mean, the Jets were driving, and Mike White threw a costly interception at the end of the game. Jets had an opportunity to steal one on the road, but the Vikings, they remain in second place in the NFC. The Lions won, so they couldn't wrap up the NFC North, but they'll clinch it here in the next couple weeks. So no worries about that. But Vikings, they get the victory at home over the Jets, 27-22. Giants and Commanders, a game with big playoff implications in the NFC, ended in a tie. That's right, a tie. Now, people might say, hey, why do we have ties? Why do we not play it out? I know in the postseason we play until they win, basically, and that makes sense. And people are like, oh, we don't want to see college maybe, where it goes to 7 over. Granted, the overtime in college is different, but we don't want to see 7 overtimes and whatever, a 5-hour game. But for like seeding, playoff implications, I think, but we would want to see this one through. But I mean, both of these teams played well. I mean, Daniel Jones, he had himself a TD. Saquon Barkley had a rushing TD. Taylor Heineke, 2 TD passes. This was a back and forth game, and in overtime, no one could really get a big advantage. Giants had an opportunity. Graham Gano ended the overtime, 58-yard field goal, just short. And unfortunately, like I said, ends in a tie. We'll see how that affects both of these teams who are in the hunt for the playoffs. 5 weeks left in the regular season. It's going to matter. But for now, we get our second tie of the season. Giants, Commanders, 20. Go to the Eagles and the Titans. Eagles offense is pretty dominant, I would say. I mean, when Jalen Hurts, over 300 yards passing, 2 TDs, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown both go over 100 yards receiving. Brown with 2 TDs, Smith with 1 TD, Miles Sanders a rushing TD. I mean, this offense, playmakers. Even with Dallas Goedert injured, I mean, you got Smith, you got Brown, you got Sanders. Hurts can run the ball. He's a threat. I mean, what else can you say about this team? I mean, and when you hold Derrick Henry to 30 yards rushing, that'll do it against the Titans. They don't really have a passing offense, so their big thing is, get Henry running over 100 yards and open up the play action. They weren't able to do it, and the Eagles, they rolled to a victory over the Titans, 35-10. And they stay in first place in the NFC, and I think they're gonna end up staying there, lock up that number 1 spot in the NFC. Broncos and Ravens. Now, I didn't get a good glimpse of what happened exactly, but there were reports that Lamar Jackson hurt his knee in the game, and I think we're saying a PCL strain causes the quarterback usually to miss 1 to 3 weeks. Not expected to play this weekend. Tyler Huntley stepped in, and we all remember him from last year. Came in, tried his best, won a couple games. Wasn't enough, unfortunately, but did enough in this game. He had an interception, but it was at the end of the game. I mean, it's 9-3, not much happening at all. Drives him down. 16-play drive, ends up with a 1-yard rushing TD. Tyler Huntley puts the Ravens on top 10-9. 16 seconds left. I mean, what else can you ask from him, And Denver gets the ball back. Russ does put him in a good position to try and kick a game-winning field goal. But the 63-yarder by Brandon McManus, as much as we thought it was good with the camera angle, was not good. And the Broncos continue to suck. I mean, 9 points. I mean, yeah, this offense, I would be shocked if Nathaniel Hackett was not fired at the end of the season. I'm very, very shocked. I think it's got to happen. I mean, or do you like what's going to happen with Russ? I mean, you're married to him with his contract for a little bit, and I don't know, but Denver is just terrible. They suck. Ravens, they escape with the victory. We'll see what happens. Keep an eye on the Lamar injury. We'll see how Huntley does next week. But they get the home victory over the Broncos, 10-9. We go to the Browns and the Texans. Deshaun Watson's first football game in over 700 days, and he looked rusty, real rusty. I mean, Texans, they jumped up to a 5-0 lead. They got a safety with tackling Nick Chubb in the end zone. And the Browns scored all three of their TDs by special teams. They had a Donovan Peoples-Jones punt return for a TD. They had a fumble, scoop, and score for a TD, and they had a pick six. And I mean, against the Texans, that's all you really need. I mean, they allow them to put up 14, but that's beside the point. Maybe people expected Deshaun to be rusty. I said to my barber, who's a Browns fan, that Deshaun they were gonna put up 40 on the ass, and they didn't. So that kind of hurts a little bit, especially in the offense, no TDs, but they get the victory. Deshaun, you just got to get back in form. I think it'll happen. I'm calling 300 yards, 3 TDs for the next game. See if it holds true. But the Browns, they get the victory over the Texans in Houston, 24-17. We go to the 4 o'clock window. We got the Seahawks and the Rams. This game was a lot closer than expected, especially with John Wolford starting for Matthew Stafford. But he had himself a pretty good game. Managed the game well. Cam Akers had a couple TD passes, but Geno Smith, he's on fire this season. I mean, people are saying maybe Seattle could draft a quarterback because they have Denver's first round pick. It's probably going to be number 2 or top 5 at least overall. But Geno's been playing lights out, and I think he deserves to get maybe a 3-year deal, get a chance to start. And build up that defense. But I mean, he had himself a pretty good game, almost 400 yards passing, 3 TD passes, one to Tyler Lockett, one to Noah Fant, and he ends up driving the team down. He finds DK Metcalf with 36 seconds left to win the game. And granted, yeah, I mean, you shouldn't have been in that position against these Rams who suck, and their pick's going to turn into number 2 overall for the Lions for the Matthew Stafford trade. But what are you going to do? But the Seahawks, they remain tough, especially now that Jimmy, get to it, but Jimmy G got injured, and they have a chance to win this division. Seahawks, they get the good victory over the Rams, 27-23. Next, we go to the Dolphins and the 49ers. Speaking of Jimmy G, like I said, he got injured. First, there were reports that he broke his foot. He was going to be out for the rest of the year. Then they're saying that he doesn't need surgery. He could rehab. Could be back in 7 to 8 weeks, which would put him playoff time. That's if the 49ers end up making it. They have Brock Purdy, who's a 4-year starter at Iowa State. They signed Josh Johnson off the practice squad. I mean, they got the team. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's offense is all about running. You got Christian McCaffrey, you got Deebo Samuel, you got Brandon Ayuk, you got Kittle, you got the playmakers. You just need Purdy to manage the game. That's all you really need to do. Let your playmakers just take over. It's going to be about yards after the catch for him. And he managed pretty well. I mean, he had a couple TD passes. And this 49ers defense is stout. I mean, they gave up a 75-yard touchdown on the first play of the game to Tua and the Dolphins. And you thought, oh, damn, I mean, this is about to be a rout. But they hung in there, and they ended up getting a good quality win over the Dolphins. And we'll see what happens the rest of the season with Purdy. But I think they got a chance. They'll sneak into the playoffs, and maybe Jimmy G comes back, and they do some damage. But for now, 49ers get the good victory over the Dolphins, 33-17. Next, we go to the Chiefs and the Bengals. Bengals have the Chiefs number. I mean, They beat him 3 times, all in 2022. Um, Beginning of January this year, obviously the AFC Championship game, and then this past Sunday, Joe Burrow. He's Joe Burrow. He's Joe Cool for a reason. Couple TD passes, ran for a TD. Jamar Chase was back from injury. He had 7 catches for 97 yards. Patrick Mahomes, he had himself a decent game. Passing TD, rushing TD. But unfortunately, the Bengals, they just did enough to get the victory. Chiefs did have a missed field goal earlier in the fourth quarter by Harrison Butker, 55-yard field goal. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a rematch for the AFC Championship game again this season. Bengals are coming on. Like I said, they got Jamar back. Hopefully they'll get Joe Mixon back. And they, like last year, they really rounded into form late in the season. And they rode that momentum all the way to the Super Bowl. So they're definitely a contender, and along with the Chiefs and the Bills for that AFC title. That's for sure. So again, see how it plays out the rest of the season. But Bengals get the road victory over the Chiefs, 27-24. We go to the Chargers and the Raiders. Josh McDaniels staying alive another week, gets another victory, back-to-back wins. I think this is more about the Chargers defense just sucking. Justin Herbert, he plays well, over 300 yards passing. He's a stud. He just needs a better defense. That's pretty much it. You put this guy, you put Justin Herbert on the 49ers, undefeated. You put this guy on the Lions, Lions are probably contending for the playoffs. Let's be honest. But for the Chargers defense suck. They allowed Josh Jacobs to go over 100 yards for a TD. They allowed Devontae Adams over 100 yards receiving 2 TDs. Adams and Carr, they've just been finding each other. That connection's getting stronger each week, and he's been helping my fantasy team a lot. Not mad about it when you have him and Jacobs. It's a nice pairing, and that duo led them to a victory over the Chargers, 27-20. We go to Sunday Night Football and the Colts and the Cowboys. All there is to say about this game is the Cowboys were up 21-19 going into the fourth quarter, and they proceeded to drop 33 points on the Colts, all in the fourth quarter. We had a TD to Michael Gallup. We had a fumble recovery for a TD. Tony Pollard TD run. Zeke had a TD run. Malik Davis, who I think is the third-string quarterback, he had a TD run. This is another offense that's explosive. Can just go off on you. And the defense is good. Obviously, it's the Colts, but still, like you said, you can only play these on your schedule. And when you're only up 21-19 going into the fourth, a little bit closer than most people would have wanted it for Cowboys fans. But you drop 33 on their ass on the fourth. That's scary. Cowboys, they end up scoring the most points in a game this season, and they're going to be dangerous come playoff time. I think this could be a year where they finally break through, maybe make the NFC Championship game. We'll see. Cowboys roll to the victory over the Colts, 54-19. And finally, Monday Night Football between the Saints and the Bucks. Now I know what y'all are thinking. The Saints have had Tom Brady's number since his time in Tampa Bay, but this time was different. It didn't look too good. Saints jumped out to 16-3 lead. Pick it up, 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Brady leads them down. 10-play drive, finds Cade Otton, I think his new favorite target for the tight end, for a TD pass. We get it to 16-10. The Bucks force a Saints punt. They get the ball back. Brady does what he does. He leads them on a 11-play drive. He finds Rachaad White with 11 seconds left. 3 seconds. 3 seconds left. and the Bucks win the game, 17-16. I mean, Brady needs something well to go for him. I mean, we all knew about Giselle getting dicked down by her jiu-jitsu instructor and all that. He needed something good. He needed to win again. He didn't win last week. He got the win this week, and I know it feels good for him. Doesn't mean he's going to win a Super Bowl, but hey, every win for him the rest of the season, it's good. He needs it. Saints, on the other hand, choked. I mean, you're up 16-3 with 3 minutes left, and you blow the game. Yikes. But, I mean, Brady, you give him the ball, under a minute left, go score a TD. I'd say 90% of the time he's leading you to that game-winning touchdown. That's what he does. Bucks get the victory, come from behind victory over the Saints, 17-16. That's it for Week 13. Like I said, 5 weeks left in the regular season. It's going to get intense. We should start seeing teams clinch playoff spots, division titles in the next couple of weeks. We got fantasy. A lot of fantasy leagues are wrapping up their regular season for Week 14. Then we got playoffs for fantasy. It's an exciting time. December, we got Christmas coming up in 2.5 weeks. Love it. We got college football playoff coming up at the end of the year too. It's like, you're a sports fan, you love it. Absolutely love it. Y'all know the drill. See y'all next week.